Welcome to The Third Side with your host, John and Stacey Edwards from thirdsideparanormal.com. Hello and welcome to The Third Side. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And this week, it's going to be full of fun, man. I'm telling you, it's full of, I don't know how to properly state it. Like New Orleans bone spell biting, old God smiting, medicine man loving, Ouija board rubbing, world's largest ball of sex magic twine, kind of excitement, kind of time.
Wow.
That enjoyable, just, damn, what are those guys into? What are those, meddling kids doing? Except we're like wearing the rubber mask. We don't have a talking dog.
Kids.
We might have a talking dog, but only because of what we did before the show. ThirdSideParanormal.com. That's the address to go and find everything you need to find about Third Side, about Stacey, and those, pics that we can't really talk about that were released in the Daily Mirror. But that's been a long time ago, so don't go searching it on Google. Facebook.com/The Third Side. Not The Third Side, but /Third Side. You know how to get to it because you've watched the show before. Twitter @3SidePara. That's the number 3. Side Para. You can find us on Tumblr. Tumblr?
Tumblr. Yes.
I didn't say Tumblr.
It's okay.
We should make a website called Tumblr. I bet if there was one, you could find us there too. iTunes, leave a review. YouTube, say hi, subscribe. We want you, as we've said before, to be our subs, because we like our subs. Are you pretty excited? Are you stoked?
I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Seems like we've got a little bit of company this week.
Like an audience.
A little bit of an audience.
Little creepy audience.
Little cursed dolls. with actual...
Everything here is cursed.
Yes, it is. But this time we've got actual spirits in the actual dolls. And we will just say this. There's a lot of stuff happening around Aben Studios, and one of these two characters behind me,
they have names.
Tends to have, do you know their names?
I do.
Well, do you want to say it?
Charlie and Lisa Marie, is that right?
Lisa Marie.
Okay.
We'd like to join the,
I'm glad I did not
we want
mess it up.
honor them by saying welcome to the set. Lisa Marie, if you want to get all crazy and make stuff go bananas like normally happens, then that would be great for us, because realistically, whenever Lisa Marie's around, including the time that Raja was holding her, our daughter Raja was here at the studio about a year ago, and we were in this darkened area of the studio, and she got to hear, while holding Lisa Marie, some little things laughing and running around.
I don't think she's been back here since.
She has not.
Yes.
She has not. Due to my Sean Connery voice.
I don't know what that was.
She has not, Highlander. We're going to have a great show, and I think it's just about that time for some paranormal news.
It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact.
Okay, so let's do some news. All right, so you know the first story we have to talk about.
God.
The first story.
Yes, I do.
We have to talk about.
I do.
We have to talk about the Roswell slides that were unveiled.
Been a few weeks back.
Back on, like May 5th or something.
Right. We've been giving it time to see what, sometimes you want to let the stink wear off and see how that stuff lands.
Boy, the stink.
There's a little bit of stink.
Yes. Well, you know, it was a big event. They sold a lot of tickets.
A lot of
tickets.
tickets.
It was a big deal. You could even pay to watch it online.
You could.
We did not do that. We
did
chose not to pay the money
No.
to see, because we knew that after it was revealed, yeah, we would see it anyway. So
Basically, I mean, here's how we looked at it. If it was what we had thought it was, you know, or what we would hoped it would have been, we didn't think it was going to be that,
right,
did we?
right.
What we would hoped it would have been, then we would have definitely seen it on Nightline. If it was less than impressive,
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
then we probably would still see it. With all our paranormal guru friends.
Right.
We try to keep, I don't know how to put it. We've made a lot of acquaintances over the years in the paranormal. The ones that we follow or keep up with or read what they put out after this long, after doing this long, are the ones that have earned our respect. The ones that have showed us integrity and showed us that they actually care about getting it right.
Right.
And those people would be like John Tenney or Nick Redfern. The people that we actually have faith in that, you know, although they have an open mind, it doesn't fall out into the floor.
Yes, and it's funny you mentioned those two, because they both had lots to say
Right.
about this particular subject.
They did, didn't they?
They did, and I did see the pictures. Of course, everybody's seen the pictures now that they've been released, and pretty much I think that the consensus is that this is just a picture of a child mummy that was in a museum that was in that area
and
at
people
the time.
are getting worked up about this.
Yeah, like they're getting mad.
On either side of things. Like, so, you know, the way we want to approach this, you know, we want to make sure that we're sensitive for because that's not us. Basically, here's the deal. Yes, those slides can be dated all the way back, because guess what? They had slides then.
Yeah, and I think Kodak even verified that it was actually Kodachrome slides, but that doesn't mean that what's on it is real. That just means the slide was the right date and year and thing, you know.
Right. I mean, it's that's all accurate. And I'll even take it as much as if it had been a little bit more weird. I would even take it more of a I wouldn't be as upset with the people or whatever if they could have just put that out on the internet.
Right.
And said, okay, look, don't worry about any money or any kind. We don't want any monetary gain. Look, we found this really strange stuff. And what does the experts out there tend to think about this? So, you know, please let us know.
Well, I mean, if all they had been worried about was, you know, I think we might have mentioned this before, but if all they had been worried about was people finding out about this, then they wouldn't have made it such a big production.
Yeah, there wouldn't be so much hobbabaloo.
Yes, that's a good word.
Thank you.
For it.
And there was quite a bit, and you know, Nick Redfern, famous for basically
for being on our show.
Basically, yeah, for being on the Haunted South and being on the Third Side. Basically, if you ever watch anything paranormal, I'm sure Nick Redfern's had like that.
Probably.
The light on his face over here. Sometimes I wonder if they don't just, you know, stick him in a room in the morning and be like, we're going to shoot 13 different shows. We're going to talk about UFO, Sasquatch, Men in Black. We're going to talk, you know.
He's definitely a busy guy.
Just turn the light on and be
busy
like,
guy.
go. And he'll be on there and be like, well, you know, the one thing they haven't done is they need to ask him about some punk music sometime, because I think
you get that free on his Facebook page.
Well, he's more of an expert on good music than anything. Anyway, Nick had some stuff on his Mysterious Universe article.
Which I'll put a link up for. Yeah,
it was very interesting, and I'm sorry that I'm just, you know, doing a little bit of reading here, but I'm very, his explanation out of everything that I've read really made the most sense. Basically, I encourage every one of you just to go read this entire thing. I will say this. He talks about the although, you know, now closed $1 Million museum that was once near where these, you know, where the people lived.
Right.
and I'll let you do your full story on it here in a moment, but it included, numerous oddities at this museum, and including child mummies and various human and animal mummies. The $1 Million Museum even had a story attached to it of nothing less than a dead alien, which was clearly a child, and he says not an ET. He has links on his story as well. One of the interesting things about this museum that was near where these people would have possibly, taken these pictures.
Right,
and,
visited.
Yeah, visited and taken these pictures of these oddities, which there was like the white handwritten,
like the card, when you go to a museum and it's in a case and then you have like the explanation,
right.
The card. And that's kind of what the story I pulled on it. It talked about, like what he did, how child mummies have not always, but sometimes been mistaken as extraterrestrials or aliens. But in that particular photo, it actually did have like the card. And I saw one article where they were showing the photo where the card, you couldn't read it. It was like it had been whited, bleached out completely.
Right.
But this particular article I was reading said that there was another of the same picture that had been released where that hadn't been done, and you could actually see some of the words, and if they zoomed in on it, and all that stuff, and you could tell that it said that it was
right.
a mummy or something. So I don't know how authentic that is either, but that's a much better explanation, I think.
Well, does your story tell really how this whole thing came to be, or?
No,
I know
not
we've talked about it before with the attic. And,
no, that's all in Nick's article.
Right.
He goes through the whole backstory, and we did talk about it on our show.
We have talked about it. That's why I didn't want to, with the sake of time, go back again.
But pretty much they found him in the attic, and the people were mysterious, and like the way their lives coincided with when these were taken, and it was just a very odd situation.
I was trying to see how close this was, because the people were from Texas, and
I think that's in New Mexico.
It's in New Mexico.
I think it's very pretty.
The museum.
Yeah,
but it makes so much sense, and what this is, it's another one of those cases, whether or not Nick Redfern's explanation or possible theory, I should say, his theory, it pans out to be true.
Right.
The very possible fact that it is, obtainable, that it could have happened.
Right.
That is enough to say no.
Right.
Or enough to cast doubt. And I hate to say definitively. This is, I could say this is a phone. I can definitively say that is a phone.
Right.
Because it's here and you can touch it, and but I can't stand when there's these other possibilities out there that are really easy to find. These other possible explanations are easy to come by. So it bothers me when someone just says for sure,
for absolute sure,
that it's something is what it is.
Well, I know, and it's not like it. I mean, the only thing that this guy had was this photo. He didn't see this thing for real.
Well,
so
the only thing I'll add, like on my end of things that I worry about, is disinformation.
I thought about that too. I was going to bring that up at the end. There was nothing in the article about anything like that, but I think it's something that you even said the last time we talked about it. So when we originally talked about the story, you mentioned that maybe this is one of those things because it had so much hype and it was so blown up and everybody was talking about it and got everybody excited, and then all of a sudden it's this big nothing. And
it does bring out the crazies.
It does.
The thing about it is it does exactly what they want to establish. And this gives you that double wide perception of, I know what I saw. It gives that terrible midday local news story, X-Files music playing, spaghetti shirt stain having, no job having, redneck that just got back from Bass Pro. And that's standing there on front of his trailer, and not that there's anything wrong with all of that.
No.
It's the fact that, having that guy there, that's that perception out there with America, with the United States, and probably, throughout the world. The perception of ufologists is, it's not a respected field. It's, not from mainstream.
Right.
I hate the mainstream anyway, whether it's music or movies or whatever. I'd much rather watch an indie film and listen to some, indie band and all that stuff, because it's usually where the real heart is, just like with journalism. The whole thing about it, though, is they want to put stuff out and make it seem like could be real, have people jump all over, because they will. It's just like these stupid Facebook rumors of somebody dying. Like right now, I could pick up my phone and I could get on there and go, oh my God, did you hear about Danny DeVito dying?
And he won't be dead.
Right. And, he won't be dead. And people will just share it. All you gotta do is make a nice little picture and have...
Put a catchy headline.
1947 to whenever he was born, to, whenever, to 2015, and people will share it, and they'll put their memories of Danny DeVito, and, hey, I almost met him once when he was on Taxi. I was 2 states over. I think that we had a moment. You know how people are.
Right.
And
they'll share it like wildfire.
Right, they'll share it like wildfire. Because that's what happens. And then somebody goes, ha ha, and they let them know, hey, we got you. You're an idiot.
Right.
And then everybody who shared that, you lose every ounce of credibility you ever have again. And that's what they want, because that way they can further their agenda.
They can say, yeah.
Whatever their alien agenda is, the best way to further it is to make people think, that...
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about this that's so disappointing is that there are pictures somewhere of alien bodies.
Yeah.
There are real ones.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, but these
they
are
program you from a young age. They program all of us from a young age to if we're sitting around a table, to go, nah, I don't know, man. I don't think that's I don't think that's a possibility. When in reality, what's the real possibility there? That it's us, or that we've been visited? I mean, realistically, there's too much out there. There's freaking astronauts that have come out and just straight up said, "Hey, we were getting shadowed at the moon."
Right.
There was do a little research. Even Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, there are credible sources.
There's credible sources out there that will tell you there was a disc, shaped object that was, over here, and we were in the Sea of Tranquility, whatever, and it was over here. There's a lot of sources out there with, people that have risked their jobs, risked their careers, lawyers, doctors,
and didn't try to gain anything from it.
Yeah, and ruin their credibility for the rest of their life, shunned from their family. Wife leaving to go with the milkman because the milkman don't talk about seeing aliens. They risk everything because they know what they saw. They know what happened to them. And that kind of passion, that kind of faith in something, I listen to those people. Because when you have this record of integrity, you have this pattern of honesty and of sanity. And then all of a sudden you say, hey, I seen this. Then why do we shun them? Why do we play the X-Files music and make the jokes and, give them our pretentious thoughts on the matter? Instead of just saying, wow, let's try to figure this out, man.
Like they do in other countries.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's our rant on the Roswell slides. So I'll put links up to all those articles. So, it's good to read about it, at least see what happened and what it was and, all that. So, okay, let's move on. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I get fired up.
It's okay. We're just going to calm down now.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so this next story I got was about the mysterious sound that was recorded miles above the Earth, and they're calling it an X-Files sound. Did you see the article about this?
No.
You haven't seen it? Okay. So...
What a segue.
Yeah.
I wonder if, copyright permitting, it'd be nice to have some X-Files music right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that or not.
We can't
anyway,
do that. Yes.
I'm excited about the new X-Files, though.
I know you are.
Anyway.
I am too.
So,
maybe we can get a cat named Scully this time.
Maybe.
We had a cat named Mulder. Big fat cat.
John didn't get along with him.
Not at all.
He loved me.
He peed on my pillow. Cat's no longer with us. Cat ceased to be. Don't know what happened to him. He ran away one day.
He ran away. Well, John tells me he ran away. I'm assuming that's what happened.
Never seen such a break for freedom as that. I felt like I was watching William Wallace, you know, trying to get up in the Highlands. It was
anyway.
Freedom.
So anyway, last year, some recordings were taken from a helium balloon that was sent up about 22 miles above the Earth, and it was done by a student doing a project, and they recorded these really
the aliens up there going
weird sounds.
What's this?
And they don't know exactly where they came from. I actually listened to it a little bit. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's a weird sound, but they don't know. I mean, it could have a very scientific explanation. They just don't know yet. And so they've planned more experiments for this year.
Like send another one up? With
well, more than one, like 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like more than one. But then they're going to try and figure out,
what kind of planning do they have to do to send up another helium balloon?
I don't know. Well,
you know what my planning would be? It'd be like, oh, that was weird. Hold on a second, Jimmy. Hold on, I'm planning.
It was part of a NASA project. That's why it took so long.
Right. I'm still planning. Oh, damn. We're going to have to plan again. I mean, it's a helium balloon.
Right, but it goes up to the edge of space. I mean, it's got to be pretty specialized.
You're NASA.
I suppose. Anyway, it's the sound. It's like hisses and whistles and just really odd sounds. So they don't know if it's just wind, maybe, but I don't know. It's really high in the air. They have no idea.
I hope it's an old god.
So there's been speculation that
I always hope it's an old god hissing and whistling.
Something from space.
You know, like this is my realm. What are you doing here, balloon?
Well, anyway, I'll post a link to the article, and you have to listen to the sound, and then maybe you can decide what you think it is. But they are going to do more experiments for the project to see if they can pick the sound up again, figure out what it is, see if it's coming from space, coming from Earth. They just don't really know. But it's up there, and they've never heard it before. So, of course, they probably never recorded there before. It's probably the first time they've ever done it.
I'd say you're right.
Probably. Okay, so here's a story that you're going to love.
That's quite the.
I use the word love very loosely here.
I mean, that's a big claim there, woman.
Well, this is a story about a company called the Touchpoint Group, and they are building a robot with artificial intelligence, which is probably dangerous.
A little bit.
Anyway, what do you think? So it's a New Zealand company, but this particular one that they are building is going to be an angry robot, and it's designed to work in customer service to handle customers that are angry.
So it's designed to handle angry people, not...
By building an angry... No, the robot's supposed to be angry. The way I read it is, it says it's to help organizations deal with angry customers, but it says it will be angry all the time. The robot with the artificial intelligence will be angry.
Dear God, they've made
all
me.
the time to deal with angry customers. And there's a picture. I don't know if it was an actual picture or if somebody just put a picture, but it looks kind of scary.
Did they give it angry eyebrows?
Yeah. Well, not eyebrows, but like pointed, the eyes were like slanted like it was angry.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. But
even if you're making an angry robot, could they not put a smiley face on it? It's a bleeding machine.
But it's caused some concern.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah, you think. And even Stephen Hawking has...
We need to have a department, just a you think department.
Even Stephen Hawking has warned repeatedly about artificial intelligence, saying that it could be the worst thing ever for humanity. So
yeah,
not
but
only...
you know what? He's losing his zest. Like, Stephen Hawking, he bites on that straw and nastes and does gloom and doom like every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like... I gotta wonder if there's not a malfunction or something in his computer, like he's actually trying to sing like songs from, you know,
it's everything's hearts and rainbows.
The motion picture soundtrack of Chicago, and it's coming out like, this is gonna be the worst thing that's ever happened in the internet. We're gonna watch out because it's gonna happen. It's just like, have you not noticed?
Well, yeah, I mean...
It's like, hey, there's a comet.
Well,
we're all going to die.
Anytime I ever hear anything Stephen Hawking says, it's always in response to something like this, or it's about the end of the world, or whatever.
I don't know. I guess if you look at it from his point of view, it's not a very kind place.
But I thought that that this was kind of funny, because I don't think it's... we're weary about the robots with the artificial intelligence anyway.
Weary isn't the word for it. When I see those robots that fucking jog like a greyhound, all I could think of is Clone Wars. You know what I mean? It's just like chonk 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 chonk. Like, is George Lucas working for NASA? You know what I mean?
Well, now they're going to make a robot that's mad.
Like,
so
why do you do that? Why do they? Let's make it 8 feet tall. Let's make it look a little bit more masculine than I do. What do you think about that, Debbie? Yeah, I like it, Jim. I mean, why? Why do we make them that's going to make us already feel more inferior than we already are? I'm telling you, if I was making the robot, it would be some sweet little dude from Duluth named Pat. What's going on today, Pat? Oh, not much. How are you doing, John? I have no designs on your wife.
That'd be the dangerous ones, though. The quiet robots, those are the dangerous ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I need like, I don't know. We need to quit building like these army of alpha male robots.
Well, I was going to mention along with this, since this is kind of about something that they're doing for the future, there is an article I'm going to link to that I thought was really interesting about how they asked 7 of the top futurists, what they called them, about what their predictions were for the next 10 years. Technologically or whatever, where they think we're going to be in the next decade. And some of the things they said were just amazing. And of course, our favorite guy was on the list, Michio.
Oh, God.
Because they asked him everything.
Kaku.
And he was talking about how he thought that in the next decade we would be able to have like the whole brain net thing where we could like be hooked, our brains hooked to computers.
Because that crazy Japanese scientist makes it.
And, communicate across the world like almost
oh my God.
telepathically.
Why do they ask him stuff?
I don't know. And he feels like that we'll be able to do things like watch movies where we can get the experience and the feelings and not just see the movie.
You know what? He is... Like, if anybody who's ever watched the show Supernatural, they have the scribe of God, and like, or the guy who wrote it as it's actually happening. Like you write this, and then somebody shows up at the door. That's Kaku.
A guy knocks on the door.
Yeah, guy knocks on the door. I mean, Kaku's making this crap up himself, and then he goes on TV and he sells it to us like this, like, hey, we're thinking of doing some mind control, but it's okay because we're going to let you live out pornos. Anybody? Come on. You want to have sex with her. Who wants to have sex with her? She once was good on Hannah Montana. Now she's a little sassy bitch. It's just, and they get you with that. Like, they get you with, oh, hey, yeah, go ahead, stick that chip right there, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, I just thought the whole article is pretty interesting. I mean, there were other things. Some of the people were saying that, there's going to be a lot more disease, and then some of the people were like, we're going to be 3D printing everything, even clothes, I mean, just a whole range of stuff. But I thought his was pretty interesting because, we always get him with the alien stuff. Like, they always ask him about the aliens, and I think I figured it out. I think he just works for the aliens. I think he is an alien.
Yeah.
There you go. He's an alien.
Hashtag Kaku Devil.
Anyway, it's an interesting article, and I thought since we were already talking about the robots and stuff, that I would just throw that in there because, it's interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. I do have a little story here that we read together the other day, and I wanted to talk about it because of our guests of honor on the table. So this is the story that's going around talking about those the dolls, the Thomas Edison talking dolls.
You dirty woman.
You loved these dolls.
You dirty, evil woman.
I just want to say that if you're afraid of dolls or you're creeped out by dolls in any way...
You can't shoot these kind of stories on me.
Don't listen to this.
The reason I showed you that story is to show you how evil Justin is.
Well, this is Justin's doll, so I know how evil he is.
Don't look up the story.
Look it up. I'll link it. It's great. You know what? If we're real quiet, maybe Justin will actually play one of the recordings. can't hear it right now. It's okay. But the dolls were great. You know, people bought them a long time ago, but then when they got them, the recordings were so creepy that they would send them back.
The girls that got them in 1897 and 1912 were sitting there in a chair in an asylum somewhere. What's wrong, little Sally? It was just reading Bible verses to me. And
the creepiest one
it got stuck on just reading Bible verses to me. Why was it talking? Yeah! I mean, and it's obviously some 54-year-old man going, you know, hey, Tim, I love you.
Making a little cry.
I mean, it's basically like me coming up to a little girl right now going, hi, how you doing? Love you. Will you change my diaper?
Well, they've just been able to recently...
Please?
restore the voices.
Like
they've known about the dolls, but they've just recently been able to restore the voices to them. And, you know, there aren't that many really left. They belong to private collectors and stuff. But now that they can have the recording to go along with the doll, the creepiest one was the Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep one. That one was creepy.
That's always creepy.
Yeah. So, but I thought this was a great story because there's a lot of people out there that like dolls. They're not scared of them or creeped out. We're not those people.
Right.
Even our children are. Our little 8-year-old doesn't want dolls. She wants stuffed animals.
Clever.
She's like, we'll go out to the store, and she'll be like, that doll's looking at me.
She's also not going to want an angry-ass robot.
We're not going to get her one anyway.
She's clever.
Yeah.
She doesn't play with spiders. She doesn't, you know, go bowling with dynamite. I mean, it's just like little things you think people would know.
How clever do you have to be for something like that? Though,
oh,
really?
Trust me. You should see some of the stuff I see on a daily basis, and it's fine.
Okay. Well, I have one more story. And I thought this one was really interesting because this is something we've talked about before. And it's about how they believe that people from ancient China came to America before Columbus. Everybody came to America before Columbus.
Right. Columbus was probably the last person to ever find America.
Yeah, he just had the best marketing team apparently because he gets credited with it.
I don't know. I think it was a joke. Like I think that it's like a big rib. That when they're making the, you know, they're writing the history books, which I'd like to picture that they did at that time.
Right.
You know?
They're sitting there with the pen.
They're like, hey, you know what we should do? let's say that cracker guy here. Let's say that dude, yeah.
Columbus guy.
Let's just blame it on him, you know? It's because, I mean, everybody is pre-Columbian.
Yeah, well...
It's like a thing.
The thing about this article is there's actually an article a few years ago where this first was thought because somebody found a map in an old book, and it was like a China map, but it was about North America, and, you know, so this was a theory from a few years ago, but recently they actually found evidence in Alaska, like actual artifacts and things, that kind of... You know, I mean, they still have to test them, but they're pretty sure.
Sense, man. The Chinese are well above,
right?
You know, and they had a lot of stuff to themselves too. I can see that happening.
Yeah, and it's they're thinking that they came over through the Bering Strait, you know,
right.
Up that way, and so they're pretty sure that these artifacts came from East Asia, and so that's just more validity to the fact that besides the map that they found.
Or are they just thinking they found Alaska?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Finding Alaska and finding the continental United States is completely different because, I mean, you're not going to make it through Alaska in that day and time. It's going to be like, especially before anybody tries settling it,
right.
It's going to be step, you know?
Yeah, but that's the point is they were on North America.
Right.
I mean, that's part of the continent.
It's cool. It is, but
part of the continent.
Right, I mean, giants, Vikings.
Right. Well, it's not just that, though, but they also, but it says in here, they also believe that they found a much deeper connection between American natives and Asian inhabitants because of some of their DNA markers and stuff. So,
which would make sense because spiritually, there's a lot of similarities between I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Both very spiritual people.
Right.
It's way more so than.
So I just like this story because of how many times we come across something that says, "Oh, guess who got here before Columbus?"
Yeah.
You know, the Vikings. And
I come across it all the time. Sometimes I come across it 3 or 4 times a week.
Everybody was here before Columbus. I think they should just rewrite the history books.
Oh yeah, I think they should too.
I was trying to ignore your little check.
They also need to put on there about gerbils causing the Black Plague instead of mice.
Of rats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But hey, what are you gonna do?
Should we go back to the doll story?
No.
Okay.
No, we really shouldn't.
You sure?
We really shouldn't.
Okay.
No.
I think they liked it.
I don't care what they like. All right. Well, if anybody's seen Stacey give us some really creepy, scary stories, thanks for the dolls. Thanks for the robots, especially the angry robots. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the Roswell slides. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. It's really good stories there today, Stacey.
Thank you.
And maybe you can creep me out a little bit more next time.
I'll try.
Jeez Louisa. The only good thing was those Chinamen coming across the sea there. It was, and when is that ever a good thing? ThirdSideParanormal.com. That's the address to go and find out more about possessed dolls. You can find it now for a limited time. Facebook.com/ThirdSide. That's where you're going to find some cool and incredible and exciting and lovely stories that we share throughout the days and weeks because we love you. Twitter @3SidePara. That's the number 3. Side Para. Paranormal. Subscribe to us on YouTube, on iTunes. If you're listening right now, it's because you love us and we love you, and we want to take this to the next step. This relationship needs to go somewhere. We're thinking about taking it past third and sliding into home. And right now, if you're just listening, and I'm not supposed to ever touch the mic, but if you're just listening, baby, I really want you to hit that subscribe. You never know when that's going to work.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Anyway, it's been a weird day. For my lovely wife, Stacey, my name's John. So long from the third side.
Good night.